Next, what appears to be a stalemate involving a delayed condo development in Kitchener. Some buyers say they were promised an option to get out of their contracts and get their deposits back. The developer says that's not the case. CTV's Jeff Pickel joining us now with new reporting on this story. This is, of course, a development along Weber Street West that we've been reporting on already. Jeff, what are you hearing now from buyers?
Well, Tony, these people, they're sharing their receipts in the forms of audio recordings, emails, and documents. They say they were assured by a real estate company working on the developer's behalf that if they chose, they could get their money back, and were never told this wasn't an option until very late in the game.
Back in 2020, AJ Lewis says he was excited purchasing his first home.
So I knew I had time, and I thought that was a smart way to get into home ownership.
But by 2024, that optimism had vanished.
We started getting news that the builder is losing money, he's going into bankruptcy, and we didn't know what the future held for this project.
After construction stalled and going through bankruptcy, a new group of investors revived the project. Lewis says buyers were presented with two options.
And it was always stated that we would have the option to get our deposit back, or we could stay in the project and it would be a 24% increase.
In an email from October 2024, the receivership group who handled the sale of the bankrupt development said after the transaction closes, if you decline, your agreement will be terminated and you will then receive an email from the deposit insurer with instructions to have your deposit returned. Then in March of 2025, in a phone call from Captain Real Estate working on behalf of the new developers,
it was the fact that because of the fact that the first builder went bankrupt, the whole idea of this whole receivership is that you want to be able to, the first normal option is always to give back your deposits. That's the number one option I usually give.
Another buyer providing this audio recording from December of 2024 with the same real estate agent.
Second option is you say, okay, you know what? I don't want the unit and I would just prefer to retain my deposit back.
Yeah, that's our option.
Yeah, which is, if that's your option, then you would do the same thing the builder would do, you'd be doing it yourself. You just file insurance and collect the money.
Later telling the buyer,
yeah, that's fair. It's whatever you're comfortable with. That's the whole thing, is like they can't force you into it. It's whatever you find comfortable.
Lewis says through these communications, he thought he was out of the deal.
So it was about in August of 2025 that I received a phone call from my lawyer, and they were telling me that I have to take occupancy of this unit, which was totally a blindside.
According to the developer, buyers were never given an option to terminate the deal.
I'm not here to argue with any purchasers for what they understood, who they spoke to. We don't know, and I for sure don't know. I can tell you that the developer never had, nor does it have, any policy to return refunds or to refund the deposits to the purchasers. Out of the question, it was never an option.
Steiner says to his knowledge, no one was given authority to offer a termination.
We have spoken to the real estate people over the course of time. They've said no, they've never done this. I'm not going to speculate why people understood or misunderstood.
According to Lewis and a handful of other buyers, someone is not telling the truth.
So the receiver's word should be the word of Elm Developments. If there was an option to get our deposit back and terminate the contract, I'm sure the receiver spoke about that with the builder.
We reached out to Captain Real Estate, who confirmed their role as a liaison between the builders and purchasers, but says they do not have the authority or decision-making power to influence or make changes to contracts. They did not respond directly to questions about the information allegedly communicated to these buyers.
Well, Jeff Pickel's back live with us now. Jeff, this appears to be a really difficult situation for these buyers. Are there any next steps for them?
Well, Tony, and actually the situation is much worse for several of these people who are now in default because the builder may now be able to keep their deposit and sue them for damages. However, we did speak with a legal expert who says these people still do have some options to fight for a better outcome. We'll have to take a look into that side of the story tomorrow.
Okay, Jeff, we'll look forward to your continued reporting on this issue. Appreciate it. CTV's Jeff Pickel live with the latest on that condo development.